There are some stories that are just too mental to pass up. So, just as context, foundation, what do they call it? A base or a control test. Let's look at Rudy Cabana quickly. The British born, completely Rwandan British born guy. Rwandan parents who did have links to the Rwandan genocide. Who, if you look at the statistics around not only Muslim communities, but around any of these types of communities, whenever they know whether it's family member, friend, or just somebody in the community, the YouGov polls show overwhelmingly that they have shown in their polls that if they know that someone's going to commit a terrorist act, or if they suspect that someone is, they won't tell the authorities. Multiple reasons we could break down into that, but that's for another time. And just as an example of this, Rudy Cabana's dad found the supposed Al Qaeda manual and the ricin in his room 2 days before he did the attack. I don't believe that he contacted the authorities about finding ricin, and a terrorist manual. And I don't believe he faces any charges for that whatsoever, which, when you talk about chemicals that can be made to use chemical weapons, then you're aiding and abetting some way there. So that you're stepping into criminal territory there just by not reporting it. So just bear in mind what people don't go to prison for, what people don't get arrested for, what we've seen people walk away from in this country. Just as a reminder, I know you probably don't need much reminding, but you've seen people put away for tweets and everything else. But you've seen the other side put away for virtually nothing. So, with the groundwork done, you may be unsurprised to know that a guy called Norbert Giosik, but I believe in the UK, has been jailed over his music collection, which included extreme right-wing recordings. He was found right with more than 2,000 records, which he was buying and selling across the UK and Europe. Very unusual way to buy and sell records. He was arrested in May last year for buying and distributing albums whose lyrics, artistic expression, whose lyrics breached terrorism legislation and were intended to incite racial hatred. Where was Andrew Chowdhury's call out when that happened? In fact, the hate preachers that are standing in every city every day trying to convert people via hate, the hate people that are taking this out on children, the grooming gangs, everything. None of that wants to be spoken. They don't want to jail any of them. They don't even want to talk about it in Parliament. But this man, I'm not condoning far right stuff, by the way, but whatever music someone chooses to have, if someone wants to have a house full of Hitler paraphernalia, that's up to them, as long as they don't try to force it on the wider public. So he was arrested in May last year for buying and distributing albums whose lyrics breached terrorism legislation. Did you know that you could buy a record that breached terrorism regulation? I bet he didn't either. And they were intended to incite racial hatred. Well, shouldn't that be just about every single song, hip-hop and otherwise, that's got nigger in it, that just says it in multiple different ways, and songs about going and doing hits on people? Anyway, oh, and by the way, just for the record, oh, that was awful. They found 2,000 records, but just bear in mind, the wording it uses were they found extreme right-wing recordings among them, which means it's not the full 2,000 records either. Not that that should matter, but just to show that they're also exaggerating. So the drill music, the kneecap music, all the other rap that is literally inciting hatred and violence, literally glorifies violence, doesn't count. But this 48-year-old man of Kestrel Road in Hereford. He pleaded guilty on one count of distributing recordings. I told you, didn't I, ages ago, about the pirate sites and every other type of free speech, that they ended up beating us by turning everything into a terrorism law. That's how they managed to try and frighten people away from copying and getting too directly involved with copying videos and that, because they brought them under terrorism laws. It's how they took a lot of the websites down, using terrorism laws. Did you even know that you could buy or sell a record that could break terrorism laws? Because you would think, with the amount of other music around that glorifies violence against white people, violence against the police and stuff like that there wasn't any. But now artistic expression has gone. But once again, it's in the UK. So what you've got to remember about the UK is it only applies the lighter shade of skin colour that you've got. This is not a racist thing for me to say. This is an unfortunate thing that's happening in Britain at the moment, which is the lighter coloured skin you've got, the more chance you've got of getting in trouble. This has not been caused by black people. This has been caused by our very white Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, who, in masochistic moves, hates white people and has gone on record as to saying he is going to give us harsher sentences and black people and transgender people lighter sentences, causing a divide there as well. So this guy's crime was, out of 2,000 records he was found to have, some of them contained some they didn't even say far right, did they? Extreme right wing music. That's what they found. Extreme right wing music, and he was attempting to flog records in the UK and Europe, which most record collectors do. So to get that straight, he pleaded guilty to one count of distributing recordings, which could be a crime, good distribution, yeah, and 2 counts of possessing recordings, 2 counts of possessing music. What the? Right, and this is where it gets really juicy. This is where it gets really, really juicy, and why I opened up with what I did. He was sentenced to 40 months for each offence at Worcestershire Crown Court. 40 months for each. That's 3 offences that I saw. The terms will be served concurrently. The spokesperson for West Mercia Police said a 48-year-old man from Herefordshire has today been jailed after admitting possessing and distributing extreme right-wing music and material. And yeah. So it's 3 charges. So 3 times 40 months, 120 months concurrently for owning and selling music. I don't care if it had Nazi lyrics on it. I really don't, because at the end of the day, it's freedom of expression. And if you've got a record with Nazi lyrics on it, you're not going to radicalise anybody. You're going to push everybody away. Yeah. If it's whatever they call right wingers, and remember, what's right wing and what's far right these days is very much in the eye of the beholder as well. So bear all that in mind as well. You've got people committing the most heinous acts and getting away with it. Like the stabbings that just happened recently. We already know now that one of the people wanted was actually involved in a stabbing incident 2 days prior. You know, they're walking free, doing these things. And like I say, this man is facing 120 months for owning and selling music. And we wouldn't be having the same conversation had he been from a different demographic. I didn't say that. Your Prime Minister did. So what do people around the world think about that? It's bonkers. But this is real today, 2025, the UK. Tom Fury, Zero News, calling it a day for now.